Hey, what's up, guys? Kyle Gallup up their video, and today I'm going to do my What If series. What if Naruto and Boruto were brothers, part 2. So, in the last part, we see mostly Kushina there was mostly getting pregnant there. She was mostly pregnant with twins there and stuff. Mostly Minato was mostly announced to be the fourth Hokage there. And mostly uh, Kushina saying, "Oh, I'm pregnant." There, he's like, and then they're like, "Oh, Kushina was actually, Yamato was actually saying, "Oh, I'm gonna be a father there." Kushina's like, "Oh, I'm gonna be a mother there," and stuff like that. The Nine Tails goes mostly. Naruto came out first there, so he mostly is the oldest one there. Then Boruto came out. Mostly the Max Man grabs the Naruto and Boruto there, and he's like, "These are your breads, huh? Fourth Hokage." He's like, "Let them go there." He's like, "What pleasure?" So he throws them there, and he mostly Naruto mostly teleports them away there from it. Mostly saving. Mostly Kushina was mostly chained up there. Mostly the Max Man takes the Nine Tails away from Kushina and mostly attacks the village with the Nine Tails attacks the head of Leaf Village, and mostly Minato mostly teleports the Nine Tails to his family there, giving Naruto and Boruto to have 50-50 of the Nine Tails. Naruto will get the crappy version. Boruto will get the nice version. They both technically die off there, and technically they mostly go into a time skip there. Technically, Boruto was actually the smartest one of all the classes. He's a little bit more popular, and Naruto is there. I might still see that he's being a little bit more popular than Naruto. Not as popular as Sasuke, but mostly popular as Naruto there. And technically, he's like was saying all of that stuff there, or mostly saying about his brother there. Mostly, he taught him how to do the gill palm there, how to walk on trees, and all the the basic steps. And mostly, and that's where technically part 1 ends. Mostly, Boruto is more mature in Naruto, so the end of part 1. So let's go into part 2. What if Naruto and Boruto were brothers? So, so we have to start off the graduation exams. Like Naruto's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna possibly do this. There, I'm gonna do this and mostly do it." So technically, technically Boruto goes first there. So they announce it all there. Everybody mostly passed and stuff like that. And then they're like, "Oh, Boruto Uzumaki," and he's like, "Right, let's do this." And then he's like, "Shadow Clone Jutsu," or not Shadow Clone. He's like, "Clone Jutsu," and then mostly makes a dummy clone because mostly the Nine Tails chakra was mostly for him. He's like, "Oh, I can do better than that. How I messed up." He's like, "Well," and they're like, Ruko's actually saying, he's like, "Sorry, Boruto, you didn't pass. You didn't make a pretty good clone." He's like, "Come on, Ruka Sensei, I can make a better one. Believe it and stuff." He's like, "Sorry, there." He's like, "Dang it." He's like, "I hope Naruto can pass." And we all know about Naruto. He fails also. So, and then they're like, "Damn, how we're gonna do this?" So mostly Naruto and Boruto were actually talking. Well, he's like, "We need to get better at this." He's like, "We can take it next year, Naruto." And then Naruto's like, "No, I just want to pass right now, Boruto. I know it and stuff. We can do it there. If we can do it, believe it and stuff." And then that's what Naruto was actually saying there for it. And mostly Mikazuki, he's like, "Huh, you guys are actually having some trouble there, huh?" They're like, "Wait, Mikazuki Sensei, what are you saying?" He's like, "Well, there's something there. You guys can actually pass the exam there. A secret scroll there on technically Boruto's like, "I don't know about this, Naruto. I do not know about this, Naruto." He's like, "Come on, let's take it, Boruto," and stuff. He's like, And he's like, well, you want to pass Boruto or not? There. He's like, all right then, and then stuff like that. And he's like, I don't. He and mostly Boruto doesn't really trust Mikazuki at all. So technically, Naruto and Boruto take the secret scroll. I think they're because technically Boruto wants to pass their stuff. So technically, they're reading through it there. So what's out of that secret scroll I can give Naruto and Boruto there? Technically, Naruto, he will still get his shadow clones. I think he will still get his shadow clones there. What Boruto can do? There's a lot of jutsus in that secret scroll there. There's a lot of secret jutsus in that scroll, but I'm not gonna give him something really powerful. I'm not gonna give him like a Rasengan or the flying Raijin there. I'm not gonna give him that. I'm mostly gonna give him possibly because he is a lightning user. Boruto is a lightning user, so he might get Gale Lightning there. Gale Lightning. That's what I think I'm gonna give him. His special Gale Lightning ability. So I'm gonna give him that there. So they're mostly practicing jutsus there. They mostly show off each other's jutsus. So technically Boruto kind of knows the shadow clones, and Naruto kind of learns the Gale Lightning there. So Mikazuki was coming. He's like, huh. He's like, well, you mostly not Mikazuki, but Haruka's like, huh, I caught you, Naruto and Boruto. They're like, Mikazuki and something. He's like, oh, busted there. And Boruto is actually, oh, busted there. He's like, well, there. He's like, you broke the rules there. And then mostly Boruto's like, wait, Mikazuki told us to steal it there and stuff. And then he's like, Mikazuki told you to steal this? And then mostly Mikazuki's like, oh yeah, there's this lying to you. Boruto's nothing but a liar there. Ruka, you need to punish him and stuff like that. They're like, wait, what are you talking about there and stuff? And then you're the one who told us to take the scroll, you bastard, and stuff. That's what Boruto was actually saying. And then he's like, well, Boruto, you need to mostly respect your elders there. And Naruto's like, wait, what's going on there and stuff? And and then he's like, well, I'm gonna do something there. What? Mostly why everybody has shunned you. Everybody hates you and stuff like that. That's what Mikazuki was actually saying. They're like, wait, what? There? And Boruto's like, wait, He's like, why? Why the villagers always hate us and stuff like that? Why do they always hate me and my brother there? And then he's like, you know the real secret there? Both of you there are the nine tails fox is inside of you both there. And then mostly Boruto was like, what? There? And then mostly Naruto was like, he's kind of shooken up and he thought Boruto was going against it. And he's like, wait, what? Wait, the nine tails is inside of me and my brother? How and stuff. Mostly Naruto was like was thinking about that, and Naruto says he's like mostly Boruto was like, you're lying and stuff. He's like, I'm not lying to you. I'm not lying to you, Boruto. He's like, I know you're the nine tails fox that is inside of you also. And he's like, oh. And then mostly Naruto tells off there. He's like, no, Naruto. And so he's like, you bastard. He's like, why are you telling us this now? Why you didn't tell us later? He's like, well, Boruto, you know the secret there. He's like, Naruto, come back. And then he mostly chases after there. And Ruko's like, why you tell them and stuff. And then he's like, they have to learn sometime, Aruka. They need to learn sometime. He's like, you should not have told him that. And then mostly Ruko's like, come back here. And mostly Naruto mostly takes a breather. Boruto comes up. He's like, you're all right, He's like, all right, you're right, Naruto. He's like, how we got the beast inside of us there, Boruto. And then he's like, He's like, calm down. You know what Mikazuki is. He's nothing but a asshole and a bastard and stuff. He's the one that's lying to us and stuff. He's like, we can actually handle this there. He's like, I'm not gonna let my brother get alone there. I'm the same part of there. He also told me I was the same. He's like, wait, what? And stuff. And he's like, yeah, and stuff. And then mostly, he's like, we need to split up. So and he's like, take the scroll and I will come behind you and stuff. And that's a good plan there. So technically, Mikazuki was following Naruto with the scroll there, and then and then mostly, he hits him there, and it was mostly Haruka pops out of nowhere. He's like, oh, it's you. You thought you were gonna get the scroll there, and then he's like, you are pretty worthless there. And then mostly Boruto and Naruto come. He's like, and then he was actually saying something about, he's like, well, they're not demons there. They're both a hidden leaf of ninjas, and the name Naruto Uzumaki and Boruto Uzumaki are both the hidden leaf. He's like, and then mostly Boruto and Naruto heard this, like, oh, sensei and stuff, and then they come and he's like, oh, there you both are. Now you're gonna die. So he throws the big shuriken there, and then mostly Oroku's like, get down, both of you. And then he mostly gets stabbed, and then he was actually saying something about what he said to Naruto in the original series, like, well, I never know how you feel there. I never know how you feel, but I know you are both like my little brothers there. Naruto and Boruto, you're both like my little brothers there and stuff. And he's like, oh, yes, good job, Ruka. And then mostly Naruto comes, he's like, if you hurt my sensei, I'll kill you and stuff. And then mostly he's like, what are you gonna do? And then mostly Boruto is like, he's like, step away back from our sensei. He's like, I'm gonna kick your ass. And he's like, bring it on, you little nine tails. And then mostly they were beating him there. Mostly Naruto using his shadow clones there, and then mostly coming at him. Boruto using his shadow clones there. Mostly like tackling Mikazuki there, and then mostly Boruto's using. He's like, kill lightning, and then he's like, and then he gets completely zapped. He gets zapped and he dies. I think Mikazuki dies in this one. Mikazuki fucking dies. And mostly Iruka comes in. He's gonna congratulate Naruto and Boruto. He's like, congratulations, both of you. You're both ninja there. And then they're like Naruto and Boruto are like, make his Iruka sensei and stuff like that. He's like, both of you might get some ramen there and stuff. So technically they were getting ramen there. They were both getting ramen there and stuff. And then technically mostly Naruto's like, yeah, we're ninja there and stuff like that. And then he's like, yeah, Boruto's like, yeah, I'm pretty happy there. He's like, we can do this, believe it there. And I think Boruto might actually say that. He's like, we can do this, believe it. And Naruto's like, yeah, we can do this, believe it there. And then they mostly clap fists there. And he's like, well, we can do this there. We can take on the world and stuff. And that's where part 2 ends there. I know it's kind of shorter. I know this one was kind of shorter there. But the next one there, the next part will be the graduation, or not, the team selections will be the next one. It depends what I'm gonna do with Boruto's team. It depends what I'm gonna do with Boruto's team there. I'm gonna leave down in the description below what team you want him to be on. You want to be him on Naruto's team on Team 7. You want to be on a random team there, or you want to be on like one of the 3 teams there. Team 7, Team 8, or Team 9. Team 9 there. I think that's Guy's team. Team 9. Yeah, Team 9. So, yep. Comment, rate, merch sponsors, bros. We like Lord Mills. Please subscribe. Hit the button, catch your own live streams. Go sponsors, bros. Like, hang out. Out of your piece.